Hello, team. Welcome to our weekly sales meeting. I hope everybody's having a great start to the week. We've got a great lineup today, and I'm excited to share some important updates here at the end as well. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. We're going to talk about, number one, back to the basics. That's what 2024, especially January 2024, is all about. It's getting back to the very basics that got us to where we're at today. So, call, connect, convert. This is the formula that I personally use in my own sales activities. Obviously, my audience is I'm reaching out to loan officers, but I'm also, working with some local real estate agents for our local LOs as well. But the focus is picking up the phone call. So, last week, Sam Abazar, I've been working with him, obviously, from Level Up Sales Coaching about time blocking and making sure I'm making the time to make the outreach that I need to make. In our first conversation, he said, hey, how many people do you think you could definitely call a day? And I said, 15. He's like, that's too lofty of a goal. And in my head, I'm thinking I'm just getting back into the basics. So he said, let's just start with 3. So I'm thinking 15. He's saying 3. I'm like, all right, I'll easily be able to do that. What I very quickly realized is that everybody was picking up the phone. I'm calling loan officers, and of course, you're calling real estate agents, financial advisors, builders, whoever the audience is that we're depending upon referrals from. And every single person picked up the phone. So an hour time block turned out to be 2 phone calls because both people picked up the call. I wasn't able to get to that third call. So he knew what I didn't know, which is you might think you can get to 15 calls, but if you don't block 3-4 hours, you're not going to get to that many calls in one sequence. So, the cadence that I've adopted that I've used for quite some time is call, and there's 2 potential outcomes there. A, they pick up and you can have a conversation. 2, you leave a voicemail and leave a voicemail. It's a great opportunity to voice why you're calling and why you want to get together. And then immediately after a call, whether it's they picked up the phone or you left a voicemail, send a text right away and let them know, hey, listen, I'm reaching out. Here's who I am. I left you a voicemail. Let me know if there's a good time for us to reconnect. Immediately after that, my next sequence is connecting with them on social. So you made the call, connect with them on social. Then now you have access to their audience. They're able to see your content and anything you're putting out there. And then the last piece is convert. The whole goal is if you're making the call, what's the next step? If you're having a call, the goal is to have a face-to-face, whether that's an in-person meeting, whether that's a Zoom meeting, you name it, that's the goal. So, to me, this cadence is super simple. There's a lot of things that we can kind of put in our way, and Sam has done a great job of holding me accountable. Like, you can make a lot of excuses why you're not making the calls. You can make a lot of excuses why you don't have a value prop or something to specifically talk to somebody that is cold that you haven't built a relationship with. Simply giving somebody a call and saying, hey, happy new year. I've been tracking you for a while. I see you do great numbers. Just want to wish you a new year and see if we could get together here in the next couple of weeks to talk about the business and how we're attacking the market this year. You don't have to talk about tactical deliverables. You can simply set up a relationship meeting face-to-face. It's worked for me. I've been doing it over the last 2 weeks. It's been extremely effective. Everybody that I talk to that's taking the same approach is having the same success. So call, connect, convert. And the convert isn't to get a deal. It's to get an in-person meeting. And then from there, you're going to build a relationship. Next thing I want to talk about is sales lifestyle. This is a big one. I spent some time over this past weekend with a couple loan officers, and I was shocked because I was hanging out with a couple loan officers that are in the process of joining UMortgage and some of their friends, and I was shocked at how many of this loan officer's friends, and this is a top loan officer, of their friends hadn't done their mortgage with this loan officer. And what I realized is this person really separated church and state. In their personal life, they weren't out there advocating on the fact that they do mortgages for people when they're buying a home. They weren't asking referrals. They weren't encouraging those people to work with them on a potential refinance. They really, had personal relationships, and they kept the business stuff completely separate. And to me, this is a big mistake that a lot of salespeople make, is not incorporating it into your lifestyle. The easiest way to have work-life balance is to always be prospecting. Prospecting is the easy part, guys. That's not the hard part of our job. The hard part of our job is transacting and getting loans to close and doing all this stuff after the fact, managing a pipeline, managing priorities, all that stuff, having conversations with borrowers, having conversations with referral partners. That's the easy part. That's the enjoyable part. So to me, making sure that we understand sales is a lifestyle. We're always prospecting. It is important that everybody in our sphere of influence, when they think mortgage, not only do they know that I'm their go-to person or you're their go-to person, but they also are an advocate for you when they hear somebody else is buying a house or somebody else is selling their house. Hey, who are you going to use for your mortgage after you sell your home, when you buy your new place? That's the level of relationship we need to focus on. So a big theme here is going to be back to the basics. So, first we talked about formula for a sales process to make sure we're sticking to the basics on a daily basis. The second thing we're focused on is making sure we're incorporating the fact that we do mortgages and rates are going down into our communications with the people in our network. They've only heard bad things, high rates per year. Now it's time to give them an update on where rates are going and how the market's going to unfold this year. We're already seeing a lot of inventory come online. We're already seeing mortgage volume increase week over week. Last thing here I want to talk about is really asking for referrals. And this is the key critical milestone within every single transaction that we need to do a better job at. We define success as a customer that creates a new customer. There is no better time to ask for referrals of the buyer's agent, the homeowner's insurance agent, the title agent, the borrower than during the transaction. Everybody is fully paying attention to you as a loan officer. You're the quarterback of the transaction. You're the one that's delivering the money. What's the golden rule? He holds the goal. Gold makes the rules. If you're delivering the money to the table, everybody's going to take that phone call. They want updates. They want to know the mortgage commitment's done. They want to know the file's clear to close. It's important that while we're delivering that emotional relief of telling them we got the loan approved, that the loan's clear to close, that the wire's been sent, that the CD's been finalized, all of those interactions with all those parties are an opportunity to ask for a referral. There's no shame in this game. It's part of what we do. And it's important that we understand that in order for the end user, the consumer, to understand that we deliver great rates and great service, and we live off of referrals. That's how we keep our costs low. We don't have our name on the side of a stadium. We don't spend money on leads. We focus on a relationship-driven business that allows us to provide the lowest rates, lowest fees, and the best service. But it's all about our past customers, our happy past customers referring us future customers. So ask for referrals. Stick to the basics. That's what it's all about. I'm going to hand it off, and I'll be back shortly.
Good morning, everybody. Happy to be here again. This is Adam West coming to you from Utah, talking about how I successfully convert leads. So a lead comes into you. What are you doing to make sure that you're not going to lose that lead? What are you doing to make sure that if they're shopping, that you're going to be the one to win it? How are you being sticky with these people? People are fickle. People get shoppy. People get scared. People are nervous. What are you doing to win? Number one, speed. Speed wins everything. How fast are you responding to that lead? If a realtor gives you a lead, are you texting them immediately? If not, do it. Are you calling them as soon as you can? If not, do it. Are you giving them value? Are you showing them the steps? Are you talking about the pre-approval process? Like, the faster you can get in front of these people and the faster you can explain your value, the better it's going to be. This realtor may give somebody 2 or 3 loan officers. Don't know why. God bless them. They're going to do it, and it sucks. But if you can be the first one to get there, and if they like you, and if things are going well with you, I don't know what the chances are here, but maybe like an 80 to 90% chance you're going to be the one to take that one. If you're competent and know what you're doing. Another thing, once you get that lead going, meaning like, you got the pre-approval, you have an application, you've pulled credit, what are you doing to make sure that you're staying top of mind, to make sure they don't fade off to somebody else? Are you reaching out to them weekly? Are you reaching out to them daily? Like, you need to have some kind of cadence. And some people are going to be a little bit different. I just got a contract today, and this has been like a 3-month thing, but this dude is like, maybe every other week I'm reaching out to him. He's super chill. He's I can tell, totally not going to go anywhere. That's all right. That's great. Some people need their hand held every single day. And if that's the case, that's okay. Just feel that out and ensure that you know exactly how often to be in contact with them. And if you're not entirely sure what to do, talk to the realtor. Like, use a game plan with that real estate agent. Another thing that makes things so incredibly sticky, and this is maybe one of the most underutilized things inside of our jobs, is, do you have an active text thread with the buyer and the realtor? If you don't, what the crap are you doing? If you get that thing going on, okay, so let's bag it. You get a pre-approval in the door. It looks good, whatever. One of the first things I do is I get that pre-approval letter or a snippet of that letter or a same-day pre-approval, whatever, right? Like, showing value, giving something that I can give to the buyer and the realtor. And I am sending that in a text message to both of these people, or if it's a couple and the realtor, whatever. So all these people in the transaction, and I lay out the next steps. And I say, hey, we're pre-approved for $550. Sorry, Ohio, that's a true thing. $550,000 is a very common purchase price here. Here's what we're going to do. Here's a 2-1 buy down. Here's this. Can you guys please let me know when you're going to be looking at your next house? Oh, boom. Then you got people in a group text. You have the buyer talking to the agent. And sometimes what happens is like you get an inner glimpse of what's going on inside of that inside of the transaction that you wouldn't have otherwise. Because then they're going to start talking about the contract or the houses they're going to see or when they're going to meet up. And then there's this Adam kind of sitting in the background, just, chomping my bits. My mouth is drooling, ready for that contract to hit. But it's amazing, sticky thing inside of the transaction to make sure you don't lose that lead. So call to action. What are you doing? Number one, I think, is just text. Like text. You still have to call. Don't always just hide behind a text. You still have to make phone calls and have them hear your voice and your passion and your determination to make sure that they're winning. But if you text them and if you utilize the realtor or whoever that referral partner is and all come together, you guys will absolutely have a stickier transaction, less shoppers, and more wins. So when you're going out there and when you're getting these leads, make sure you're being fast, you're texting, you're on it, and you have a good cadence to be always top of mind, and don't let them go anywhere else because you are the best and you deserve it and you go out there and win. Thanks for having me.
Good morning, everybody, and thank you for having me on another one of our sales meetings. Today, I wanted to just briefly talk about organic business, how I generate organic business, some of the things I do daily to help building organic business with my partners, monthly, quarterly, annually. It needs to be systematic because one of the most important things you're going to do to build organic business, something that Ian and I talked about on Monday, is execute consistently. So anything you're doing, you have to be consistent with it, whether it's client outreach via text message or emails or phone calls or CRMs or drip campaigns. Whatever it may be, do it consistently and do it the same for everybody. So what I have found that has built the most organic business for me, and this is something that Sam Mabazari and I were talking about last week, is he asked me a question and said, who is your top referral partner and how many referrals did you get from them last year? And I said, I don't know. I don't know how many I got last year. I know who my top referral sources are, but I don't know how many leads I got from them. And what I consider a lead is very different maybe than others. But I wasn't able to quantify and calculate who my top referral how many referrals they gave me. Something I certainly want to do in 2024. But the reason I wasn't able to answer that question is I give such a similar experience to every single person that sends me a deal, whether you are a colleague, a real estate agent, a CPA, part of my sphere of influence, regardless of where you're from. My job is to deliver that same experience every single time. Whether you gave me 100 deals last year or you gave me one deal last year, I'm going to execute at such a high level that it wouldn't even, people from the outside wouldn't know that we've never done business together. My job is to make that process so fluid and so smooth that how I create organic business is executing consistently. Things that I do to execute consistently. You hear me say it all the time, and I'm never going to stop saying it, is be a human first. I make personal connections with my partners. I talk about our lifestyles, things we do outside of work, things we do with work, invest in real estate, invest in syndications, whatever that may be. Find common denominators with these partners to build that personal relationship, because there are tens of thousands of you out there, of loan officers. There's thousands of us. And our partners can choose to work with any loan officer for any reason, but they choose to work with you because of who you are as a person. Not because of the products you offer, which can have a large portion of it, but it's not the reason they work with you. They work with it because of how you can convey those product availability, how you can convey pricing, how you're able to communicate to your borrowers. So execute consistently to build that organic business. Be a human first. That's the easiest way to leverage somebody into knowing who you are, and then to work very well as a team. And that's the end game, is for these clients to seem so seamless, as if you are on the same team, that they don't have to worry about miscommunication or where we are in the process. Your partners don't have to worry about that either, because you've built such a great rhythm and you provide that to every partner every time. So my call to action to everybody this week is to reach out to your real estate agents and invest in them. Not necessarily their business, but invest in them. Find out about who they are, What are their goals for 2024, business or personal? What are they trying to accomplish this year? Because you have product availability, you have the wherewithal, and you have this monstrous team of operations behind you to get them to the finish line, to get them to their end result, which is more closed deals. Be a closer this year and be a human first. Have a great afternoon, and thank you again for having me.
Hello, my name is Jessica Eddy, and I am coming to you today from the Ohio Valley Mortgage Group here in the Cincinnati, Newport, Kentucky area. And I am going to talk to you today about your database and what I specifically do for my database. I've been in the industry since 2009, and I am very much relationship based with my clients. I always like to consider the fact that I am my client's lender for life. And what that means is that I am always checking in with them, following up with them, whether they are having babies or wishing them a happy birthday, sending sympathy cards, and just staying in connection with my clients. And so right now in the environment that we are in with our interest rates, this is critical for our business to stay in touch with our realtors, not just with our realtors, but with our past client database. And the reason for that is because they are getting bombarded from other lenders, from refi shops, and people that do not have those relationships built with our clients. And so I just actually got off a phone call with a past client that is concerned that they are going to miss the boat on refinancing because they had received this letter. Now, the week of Christmas, I had reached out to all of my past clients from this past year that I had closed and let them know, hey, if you get this in the mail or if you get a phone call, understand that we are keeping an eye out for you and we have your best interest at hand. Feel free to reach out if you have any questions, but we will be reaching out to you. I will personally be reaching out to you when we are ready to take a look at your refinancing options. So right away, they knew to send a picture of the letter that they received in the mail, and sure enough, it is going to cost them quite a bit of points if they would go with that lender. So we went over the numbers and they're realizing that we need to wait just a bit, but that's why they said we were not concerned. We just wanted to make sure to reach out to you to see if now is the time for us to take advantage of the refinance. So I encourage you to take this as an example to make sure to stay in front of your clients, get the message out on social media and through your messages to your clients via email or a phone call, and letting them know that this is something that they don't have to worry about. You're taking care of it for them, and it's not a burden that they have to carry. It's something that you'll take that stress away for them. And that is another value added service that we can provide to our past database. So if you have any questions with this or how I reach out to my past database, feel free to reach out to me. And always stay in touch with the Sales Huddle because they're always giving good insight and feedback and examples just like this of how you can implement different things into your daily routine. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. Wanted to talk to you today about putting yourself in the real estate agent's shoes. Like, why would they choose to work with you? One thing that I'll never do is I'll never take a referral for granted. I'm going to stay hungry and I'm going to stay appreciative. In the real estate agent's eyes, our job isn't just to do a pre-approval, right? Like, we're not pre-approval specialists. There's a lot more to it than that. I'm not talking about anything fancy, right? I'm talking about the basics. So make sure your basics are dialed in, because it's really easy to get by now. But once the rates come down and things get a little bit busier, are you going to still be able to knock it out of the park for your real estate agent every time? I'm talking about basics things like speed to lead, right? Like, are you getting to the lead immediately? Speed to pre-approval. Are you getting it pre-approved immediately? Are you staying in constant communication with your realtor to make sure they're not left wondering what's going on with their buyer? Are you following up when you're pre-approved and looking to make sure that your realtor knows that you are appreciative and you're hungry for leads, right? Are you doing a tight pre-approval, which leads to a tight submission, which leads to easier processing, right? Because if you're scrambling at submission, you might cost yourself 2-3 days, which is, that's putting all the pressure on your processor, right? Like, we want to have easy processing, which leads to fast CTCs. All right, now my favorite part, right? Like, we want to be a partner with our realtors, right? So we're in the trenches with them at all times, especially when it's time to make an offer. When it's time to make an offer, it's all hands on deck. We're going to go over appraisal gap strategies. We're going to show it in writing. Like, here's no appraisal gap. Here's the appraisal gap. You got to know the appraisal gap strategies in order to win in a tough market, which is coming very soon. Are we going over appraisal waivers, right? Like, are we looking to make sure that, hey, maybe we can waive the appraisal on this one, use that as leverage to get our offer accepted? Are we in constant communication with the realtor throughout the offer time? Like, while we're talking with the buyer, are we in the constant communication with the realtor to say, hey, is there anything you're seeing on your side that I can help with? I had one a few weeks ago. All it took was showing the buyer 405 versus 400 because they were stuck on 400. They weren't going to go higher. Last second, I'm speaking to my realtor and she says, I don't think we're going to get this. You have to go to 405 to get this one. So I put it in writing and I showed the buyer. We had a discussion. Next thing you know, they're putting in at 405, and that's what it took to win the offer. These little things don't seem like a big deal, but I assure you that they matter. All these little things add to a little bit more offers getting accepted, which means happy realtors, right? And a lot of this starts with when you're doing your mortgage consultation. Like, are you explaining to the buyer, like, hey, when rates come down, prices are going to go up? When are you extracting any fears they have? Like, or do they think there's a housing bubble? I've heard that before. I got to extract those fears to make sure I have that discussion to create a confident buyer. So all I'm asking everybody is, hey, make sure you don't wait till the rates come down and you get really busy. Dial your process in now so that you're ready when the rates come down.
Thank you, Ian. Great job, team. A couple call to actions I want to share before we wrap up. Number one, we have a very special, our monthly edition of our real estate agent training this month is going to feature Ben Bell and Gil Arbertsman, our CFO, who's also a CPA. Great session that's really focused on real estate agents. Obviously, we do this training every single month. We pick a different topic every month to educate our real estate agent partners too. We promote it. We invite them to this training. It's not about soliciting them for business. It's about adding value. So this month, it's, hey, listen, it's tax season already. We're a couple months away. Now's the time for our real estate agents to start preparing for tax season. So we want to bring this value to them and talk about how to prepare for their filing, how to make sure they're maximizing their deductions, how we can help save them money on their taxes. So a great session here. This was inspired by Ben Bell. And our goal here is for us to, present this to our real estate agents and add this value. But this is a session that we're going to produce the slide deck and something that you can partner with a local CPA, local accountant, and do at the local level. Host a training for a real estate office or a group of your realtor partners to help bring this value to them. Again, it's all about, one thing is helping with deliver customers and deliver the experience. Another thing is how do we help our partners optimize their business? They don't have a lot of support. They don't have somebody helping doing daily sales huddles and trainings every single day at their office. So this is a value add in a very, very big way. Ben Bell had the great inspiration here. Gil and him are working together on the presentation. We think it's going to be a tremendous use of our real estate agent partners' time. So January 23rd, 3 p.m. The creative assets have been shared by our marketing team. So please do your best to promote it and engage with your agents to bring this value to them. Last thing is today's daily sales huddle. We're back to the basics. That's what we're focused on for 2024. Kyle Kohler's leading today's session. And we really want to focus on optimizing what we already have, the tools that we already have that, a lot of people might not necessarily be using. A lot of people might not be getting the results that they can be getting if they use the tools that we have here already at UMortgage. So, we're going to focus on getting a 10-day clear to close every single time by following a system they've adopted at UMortgage West, and many of our branches have. But if you're not getting that result every single time, this is a must-watch daily sales huddle. Whether you watch it live or watch the recording later, please take the time to watch it. He's going to break that down. He's also going to talk about our marketing resources, our presentations, something that they've incorporated at a high level within the Utah team. Every single day they're doing presentations for real estate agents. They're hosting their own market update on a weekly basis. And they're going to talk a little bit about how they're deploying the assets we've already produced. We're not reinventing the wheel here to bring that value to their local partners. So it's going to be a great session today at 2 p.m. Eastern time. Remember, every single daily sales huddle is recorded and saved on SharePoint. We're now sharing a copy of the link in the post promoting each daily sales huddle, so you can go back and watch it at any given time. But if you have the opportunity to join on live, 2 p.m. Eastern time, Kyle Kohler is going to be leading it with some tremendous value. Hope everybody's having a great start to the week. Look forward to seeing you guys soon.